Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do tonight is I've been looking at trying to get the our little application to work here. And I think I have the wrong thing here. This is one of my attempts to, let me get the right one here. I want this. Okay. So let me, because it was a separate window and that was why. So what we're trying to do now is, if you recall, what's going on here is it's running into this error here. That is where, this is when it's trying to deserialize. So let me show you. Again, we're getting to serialization and deserialization. Let me go down here and show you what's going on. It's way, I think, in the bottom. Right, okay. So here we run this thing called report greetings. Let me show you that in a minute, but let me bring up main TS. So let's look at main TS. Main TS, the last thing it does is it calls report greetings. And if you look in Hello World TS, let me make sure this is the right one. Yep. Let me show. Looks like I have two of them. Oh, I don't know. This one, close it out, say, okay, here's our correct one. I don't know what that was. That's probably an old one. Okay, so down here, you see it say hello and report greetings. So what it has to do is deserialize this. And hence here is the issue. It's running into this strange error that says capitalized first letter is not a function. That doesn't seem to make any sense. So it looks like it's an issue. It's something in the node, in the Bosch node modules. Now I found Bosch to be kind of a pain because it's not, doesn't seem to be very well documented. And of course, one of the obvious things you would look at when you're trying to say, well, why is this here failing? So the reasons it might fail is these things aren't matching up. So we look at greeting account. This is one reason. Greeting account and greeting schema, which is way up at the top. So greeting, this is old code that we don't need. Greeting account has a counter and a string. And so it's a number and a U8 array. And the greeting schema is a struct, again, a counter and a U8 array. It doesn't seem to matter if I had it. I had different things for this. but I ran into some very strange stuff with this, trying to do this, so I just gave it a greeting size. Now that could be, if I remember when I tested this out, the greeting size was in fact this. So I think what the idea is, this way you know you get the right length, but I know what the length is in this case. So, because if I use this, again, it didn't like this. And I can show you that. If we see what happens when we get rid of this, and this, and this, and this, and then we comment out that. Okay. So let's try it again, and we'll see what happens. It may even panic. Ooh. No, it doesn't panic. It doesn't compile. Now that's interesting. The error starts here, and it's saying, so greeting size has to be a number. If we do this, because this is the length. Okay. I don't know what temp greet is. Well, let's try this again, because this may be doesn't seem to like that. You know what? We should go back and look at the original. What does the original one? One thing I did is looked here, and let's see what the original one. Now, the one thing we added here is the okay. I'm going to try something. See if it likes that. Notice here we didn't put any, there was none of the variables were filled in, which they don't have to be. You can have it undefined. So let's go back here and see what happens if we leave this blank. And if you notice, the other thing is this is defined as a number here, but in the schema, it's defined as a U32. That being the case, we may want to try this is a U32, and this is a do the stuff that we do in see what happens there. I don't know. Okay. So it is, again, failing at, let's see. Oh, it doesn't like that. Hello world at line. Looks like hello world at line 100. So it doesn't like this line, and it's complaining about, what is it complaining about? It's going back to here. Capitalized first letter is not a function. So one thing I can do is simply, I'm going to do a little Googling on this and see if I find anything. And I'm going to use, see if Bosch helps. So okay, let's have a look at this. Let me show you. Let's see. All right. So let's move this up, and we can have a look at this. Okay, so we have UN arrays. We have a map of a struct. The first name is 20. The second name is 20. The username is let's see. Here's one. So let's see, fields. Here's a working example. Okay. So what do we got here? We've got the map, and we got a byte array, and the field of the name, and it looks like the size. And this is defined as, just like ours is a U int 8 array. And this is a, so maybe the key is, let me bring this back up. Whoa. Here we go. Let me do this. What? All right, so brought up a program I didn't want. Okay, so if you look at the example, so I'm going to change this to 32 here. And let me go back. So in the example that you can't see because I only have my code up there right now, you have this working example. In the definition, it defines an array as a uint8 array. So our definition, we defined greet string as a uint8 array, and they have fields by that same name, and that's interesting, there's a little question mark there. Let's try that. That may mean something. So if I change this to a 32, then that may work. I'm going to try running it again. Type U8, you can see that. So what we're getting here is on line 73 is not assignable to type uint array. So let me see how they have that defined in their constructor. If you look at the constructor, let's see, byte array, and the constructor is okay. Why? I wonder what would happen if I got rid of the undefined equals undefined. And why is it giving me that error? Because you would think, so that is on line 73. Line 70, it's, okay. This is when it's trying if fields. So what it's saying is, uint array undefined not, okay. I'm going to get rid of my guess is it's saying if it's undefined, then the whole thing's undefined. So it can't assign it to anything. So if I get rid of this, I don't know if it's going to work because obviously it's saying it's undefined. Once I get rid of this, because that wasn't there originally. So where is it failing now? That same old place. So if I don't have that question mark there, but do I need the undefined equals undefined? See, this is the kind of stuff you're doing a lot, and when you're debugging, you're doing a lot of experimenting. And what I'm trying to do, my goal here tonight is to just give you a little taste. All kinds of things you try. Well, this is what doesn't it like here? Argument for fields was not provided. Okay, so it doesn't like that. So let's put it back. And let's try something. If it's undefined, then can I do something like this? If I did something like this, I don't know if it's going to like this. We're going to have to, if this doesn't work, the next thing is to again, I am, well, how did they do it here? I wonder if I did, if I tried that. I just tried any. And I guess it means so that's interesting. It failed on line 73, even though it said if fields. What if you have multiple fields? See an example where I'm still going to try to understand how they're doing things here. And they have a byte. Where is the byte array? So they define it, but they're not using fields in the constructor. Oh, it's probably the same thing as properties. And so, okay. and they're just defining it up here. So if we go and just define it, and the other thing they do is they see something. I'm basically trying to copy the original example I'm looking at here. And I don't know if this is going to work. Hopefully this has been this is useful. Basically what I'm trying to do is just give you a little taste of what it's like when I try to do this debugging, and it didn't like that at all. Trying to figure out what it's not liking. Oh, I really didn't like that. Not finding anything. Oh, here's the problem. I didn't comment that out. All right. Just get rid of it. A index parameter must be well, let's get rid of these. I don't know why they used them. And so it goes to line 100. So it does not like the greeting size. So we're going to go back to this because I know what it should be and what seemed to work. $26. And this is 254. Okay. It still does not like this Deserialize. So report greetings, we get the account info. The whole idea here is supposed to use the schema in the account, which means I would think the schema and the account. So it's okay with this account definition. It's okay with this. Again here, just trying to look and see the differences between the schema and the account. Because it almost seems like maybe there's an inconsistency there. Constructs. Oh, here, and questions, what happens if there are multiple? Oh, that's right. Oh, I see something. Notice here, there is no, oh, you couldn't see it. I'll show it to you in just try this. I'm going to run this again, and then I will show you that, because I realized you couldn't see it. Expected buffer. And let me check the other one. Make sure I didn't, I'm just making sure I didn't mess something up the way I'm passing it to the other side. And I'm running it again and making sure. All right. So, this is an improvement, okay, because we have length 32 isn't within bounds, and that is, let's see, that is at line 254. Okay, so let's try making this 33. See what happens. It's either going to like that. Okay, well, I don't want to keep you too long, but you get the, let's talk about the progress we made. Basically, what I did is, when I was originally looking at this, and I believe you, well, you know something I didn't show you. Let me just show you this for a second. Let's see. That would be, Okay, so here is what I was using as an example, and this is why these types of sites are great. So this is what I was looking at, and you can see they define their byte array, and they have some kind of constructor, and then the map is the name of the class, and then the struct, and then the field, and there was no, this was not in quotes, single or double, just not in quotes. So that was, once I got rid of that, then what I had is the model and the class were matching each other. So let me go back. Do you see that? Okay. So let me just, so I think I kind of you may not have seen that. So, and here is what I was looking at. You have your byte array, your constructor, and here it's model example, it's a struct. The field is byte array. Notice there are no quotes there. Before I had quotes there. So basically what I was trying to do with this is taking an example that looked kind of close. And let me tell you, this is how I did math when I was in school. When I was in school, what I would do is, let's say, and this is a good trick, it may work for you, it may not. Everyone is different how they learn. But when I had math class, freshman year, I had to take, calculus, right? So the professor we had a book, the professor would assign us problems in the book. The way I prepared for exams is what I would do is I would take the, I would go do the problems that were assigned, and then I'd find some other problems, and I'd work through and try to see in the book what examples look similar to that which I was trying to solve. And that is, and this is exactly what I was doing. I've Googled until I found something that looked similar, matched it up, and eventually I got it where that error was no longer occurring. Now there's still an issue about the length here, which is something I'm going to try to work out. And it does not like this greet string. So that I'm going to continue to take a look at, but I hope this has been helpful. Let me know, please, in the comments if you think it's helpful to see me do this stuff live, or you want something a little bit more, don't bother with that. Come in and show us what the answer is. But what I was trying to do here is kind of get some of my techniques, show you some of my techniques and how I go about it. So anyway, hopefully, even though we didn't quite get this thing 100%, hopefully this has been helpful. And I will speak to you next time. Take care.